This week I'd like to give you a nice little thought to take into Shabbat by sharing with you what I think is one of the most important values in the Jewish religion. My friends, it's really impossible to say what single Jewish value is the most important. There are so many, and they are the basis of our religion. Things like being compassionate, being loving, being charitable, being honest, being humble. All of these things are important Jewish values. In fact, they're not unique to Judaism. Judeo-Christian values come from both the Jewish and Christian traditions, and our values are virtually identical. We certainly have theological things on which we differ, but our values, as I said, are almost identical, hence the term Judeo-Christian values. But what I'd like to talk about today is something that, as far as I know, is unique to Judaism. Every week, a colleague of mine, another rabbi in town, and I study texts together, sacred Jewish texts. And right now, as is traditional between the holidays of Pesach and Shavuot, we're studying something called Pirkei Avot. It's usually called in English, the Ethics of the Fathers. It comes from a sacred Jewish text called the Mishnah, which is all legal material except for one section, Pirkei Avot, which is wisdom literature. And this is what we learn in Pirkei Avot. One who embarrasses his neighbor in public has no place in the world to come. Think about that for a second. It's a very powerful statement. If you embarrass someone publicly, you don't have a place in the world to come. It's the Jewish way of saying you don't get to go to heaven. Now, do I believe this literally? Well, first of all, when it comes to the world to come, I do believe it literally. And I will do a video on that in the near future. As for the statement about embarrassing someone publicly, causing you to have no place in the world to come, I take that literally in the sense that what it is doing is telling us just how seriously the Mishnah views the offense of embarrassing another person in front of others. This also teaches us that our sages believed, I believe, and the Torah tells us that God cares deeply about humanity. There is nothing more important than how we treat each other. When I was a young child, probably about 10 years old, I remember being in synagogue and someone would commit some minor ritual offense and would be publicly scolded by one of the older men who was better informed. I was so happy as a rabbinical student to learn that the one who was wrong was not the one who committed a minor ritual offense. It was the one who embarrassed that person in front of the congregation. Our rituals are a means to an end. They are never an end in and of themselves. But our values that shape the way we treat one another and the way we behave in the world, those, my friends, are central to our religion. And as I said before, it may be impossible to name the most important of the Jewish values. We call them midot in Hebrew. But not embarrassing someone in public is one that is a personal favorite of mine. And that's why I wanted to share it with you before Shabbat. If you are enjoying our videos, please do click like, share, subscribe, make comments, share with me below in the comments what you think the most important Jewish value is, or name me one of your favorite Jewish values. And in terms of subscribing to the channel, you can do that by clicking on my face right there. If you'd like to see some other videos we've already released, you can do so by clicking on them right there. Until next week, Shabbat Shalom.